Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is safe and well. My name is Roma Narsinghani, and I am a designer, jewelry designer from Mumbai, India. I would say I have had quite a cultivated, dynamic career path so far. Even though I come from a fashion design background, jewelry came into my life in 2017, about say three and a half years ago. I've been teaching fashion forecasting for the past 7 years, along with working with a company in New Delhi called Media Makers. They conceptualize and execute fashion shows for India Fashion Week. And jewelry was always a passion for me. I started creating pieces for myself, which then turned into pieces for even making them for friends. And eventually they popped up on a fashion show that I collaborated on. And that's how the organic journey of my jewelry it sort of started as an artist. And what feels really good is that so many people have got to try it, and I'm hoping more people get to wear my jewelry so that they get to be a part of my journey as an artist. As a designer, I want the woman or the man, whoever wearing my jewelry, the wearer, to feel empowered from my jewelry. It feels like it has to give them strength of some sort, even though the pieces are quite minimal, but they're very bold and intricate. I want that message to go through in everything that I make. The person who wears my jewelry is probably someone who thinks about the impact that they have on the environment. That lends to the consumption choices and being mindful of what they buy. And it's been so interesting the past few years because my focus has only been on handmade jewelry and catering to the sort of this community of women that are strong. They have cultivated taste, and they love to experiment. And the idea is to have that much variety and for everyone to kind of express their identity in some way. And with identity comes aesthetics. My design aesthetics have also evolved in the past few years. I mean, from when I started the brand, one thing that has stayed constant is the signature sort of geometric element that I use in all the pieces. Um, each piece is each piece is unique, and it's created by highly skilled artisans that we have, and we work with them. Traditional craftsmanship is infused in all of our pieces, and every item in our collection echoes the love and hard work that made it. And I hope that really even comes through when you see them. It's all our artisans that we have, every person who's involved in making any pieces, they are our family. We work with local artisans in Mumbai and Jaipur, now Jaipur actually, since the lockdown, and we just started that in January. All our jewelers come from generations of fine jewelry makers, and our maestro jeweler Bikash Mondal has been working with us even before the inception of the brand. He started working with me when I was making pieces just personally when I wanted to go out and right before when I was getting married. And he just sort of came in and we became a really good team. He's a true magician of his craft, and he can really make the impossible possible. So it's a fun relationship that's very important when you're creating something, to have that synergy. I think the beautiful part of our growth has been this learning and amalgamating of these ideas of this contemporary style and his age-old technique coming together. And of course, what I do on my end is that every year I try to travel, learn new techniques. Last year, I had actually made a trip to Florence where I learned chasing in repousse. So the idea is to keep adding new handcrafted techniques as in how we carry on through the years, so that we can have something new for audiences. We see ourselves as being a part of a community, and we believe we share social responsibility to support it as well. Our policy is not really to pay the lowest price, say to the in terms of like a biggest player in the market. Instead, we want to support smaller local individuals. The price might be higher, but in practice, I think it's fairer, it's easy to sustain, and it helps the community as a whole as well. Uh, We really try to take care of everyone, including our team, especially right now, since because of the lockdown, everybody had to go back home. Considering all our artisans come from villages, so we make sure once we start, we provide them with a safe working environment to carry on. We believe in empowering everyone that comes on board for the team, whether it's with training, skills, or responsibility that will help them grow further. And sorry, I think there's a question here for me as well. Which gemstones do I prefer to work with? Well, so far we haven't worked with any gemstones, honestly. Our main focus is to use reclaimed brass, and then we do enamel work. But so far we have only gone into kundan, which is a traditional Indian stone, and have not used any other gemstones unless we are doing something for a client and it's a bespoke piece. So then it depends. If a client wants to use a ruby, then we go with the stones that are best suited for that client. And I'll just carry on with this. We believe in empowering our entire team, like I said, so that they can grow further while they're with us and even when they move forward onto their other companies or onto their other projects. We strive to find new sort of ways, innovative ways of recycling scrap materials. For example, we had small little pieces of brass that we didn't know what to do with, so we turned them into bindis, these stick-on bindis. You must have seen them. All Indian women wear it, and it's also you'll see it in a lot of music festivals, and it works really well with a sort of a boho-centric style. So at any point in time, we have a little bit of scrap. We try to make it into something else that can be functional. We also try to choose digital formats over printed wherever we can, and we use recycled paper where we can. And of course, the main aim is to be socially responsible while we're producing pieces that are aesthetically pleasing and functional. I think now that we've spoken about our clients and the women that wear the pieces, and even in terms of the team that we have, the makers, and the community, I think another integral part of the growth of our brand is collaborations. We collaborated with an NGO called Reba Society in Maheshwar last year, which is in the state of Madhya Pradesh. They work for the welfare of weavers there, and they provide beautiful Maheshwari textiles. It was our first time working in a space where we got to work with a community that works with these beautiful textiles, got to learn from them, learn how to weave, to learn about their history and their stories. I just completely fell in love with the place and the community and the NGO. So I think collaborations is something that's really supported the brand and lifted it as a whole. Whether it's even creating a collaboration bespoke piece from a bridal designer like Anjum Modi, or whether it's a collaboration that we've done with a futuristic designer at Lakme Fashion Week. I'll give you an example. We had made a piece recently in the month of Feb, which was a kinetic flower. So the flower opened and closed as the model walked down the runway. So what's interesting about collaborations is that it's two people or two teams coming together, creating something completely new and innovative. And I definitely see that as a future forward approach for our brand, for sure, because I think we've collaborated with over 9 to 10 brands in the past 3 years. And one of our most important collaborations have been in the last 2 years was with Rahul Mishra for Paris Fashion Week. I think that was a really big moment for the brand. It opened so many new opportunities for us. We got to finally explore international markets because so far we were focusing on India and Middle East mainly. And in fact, with Helsinki Fashion Week, this is our second sort of association with them. Our first association with them was last year, where we won the Sustainable Design Award, which was organized by FAD International and Helsinki Fashion Week. And then on, I moved forward to getting the super talents at Super Pitti at Milano. So, I mean, if I really think about how last year went, it was so different to where we're living right now, isn't it? Where I was running, I was attending shows. It was a year filled with great opportunities for a brand as a whole. In fact, for Helsinki Fashion Week, we looked at creating a special collection which was called Lasya. But I have the images on the presentation that you might be looking at right now. It says Lasya 2019, where we used geometric fluidity that served as a starting point for the collection. So we essentially looked at art and dance and put them together. So collected lots of images of dancers and sort of started sketching on it to create new patterns and created this collection that was showcased at Helsinki Fashion Week, also at Super Pitti in Milano. But yes, coming back to this year, where we are right now, it really does feel different. This current phase of our life, this collection, me, I think it's all screaming change. I think everybody has felt this now more than ever. And I think this now brings me to our current collection, Gaia. Gaia is our first digital collection that we're going to be showcasing at Helsinki Fashion Week on the 29th of July, and we're so excited to present it. I'll tell you a little bit about the collection and its mood board. Gaia is a journey of oneself moving from a space of chaos and clutter. So every day that we move forward in these busy cities, there's so much going on in our minds. We're so consumed by our phones. Either we are suffocated in high rises or now with a mask. Even our relationship with nature seems a bit superficial in many ways because we tend to take it for granted. Where there's chaos in our minds, and I just felt like I wanted to create something that sends a positive message that showcases a transformation or a journey of someone moving from a space of chaos to a space of harmony. So it's about, this collection could be about you. It is definitely about me. It's definitely about my personal experiences. And I've used the idea of the Maitreya as a metaphor, as a guiding source for this collection. So I'll tell you a little bit about Maitreya. Maitreya is the fifth Buddha that hasn't arrived in the world yet. He comes to the world when there's absolute destruction and there's sadness, and he comes as a source of light to sort of give divinity and peace within, to bring that harmony, to transform us, to move towards a state of collective consciousness. And that's the message that I really want to communicate with this, because I felt like, I don't know, I felt like if I was feeling it, other people were going through a similar journey at different levels. So I'm sure people will be able to identify with every piece. Every piece has a story that becomes a part of this journey. And like I said before, the collection is definitely a personal one, and it's an ongoing journey at that, because it's a spiritual journey. It's almost never ending, right? And it's, yeah, collections about change mainly. And I'm sure you can hear the tone of my voice as well, that is personal. So I'd like to also say that looking at the changes everywhere, there have been changes in our brand as well. I mean, India went into a lockdown in March, as I said, and everybody had to go back to their homes. I myself am not in Bombay right now. I'm working from Goa. So working on this collection was extremely challenging and was fun at the same time, because it was this whole process of relearning and learning. Everyone was working in this decentralized model. Usual design development process is to sketch and create samples in brass. But this time we had an in-house team that we had to create that was developing 3D models and renders. Virati from our team took the lead along with the head of production and the assistant designer, Shweta Gupta, to sort of work with me on this project to create these 3D models. We normally create about 2 to 4 offline models to see possible outcomes. But because now that we have softwares, we are now able to create and iterate so many different times and see different possible outcomes without having to waste any materials. So it definitely helps us understand how to use these digital tools to help our brand become more efficient, while also, I think, eliminating waste. And I think what it also does, it optimizes our future production and materials. We have, in fact, just started production again after months of being shut. we are outsourcing all the sampling to our manufacturer in Jaipur. So I think now the interesting thing would be where it's about communication, because earlier when we were sending our samples, say, to Jaipur to get them made, we were sending a physical sample that was going. Now we are sending digital files. And of course, there's a language barrier. So it'll be interesting to see the outcome of us working in a decentralized manner just to 3D files in terms of quality. So that we should be receiving our samples soon. So time will tell. Even I think for me, the main big takeaway for me and the brand is the fact that now, because we're working digitally and we've learned so many new tools in the last 3 months, which reduces our sample and time to market cost. It also gives us this focus to get to a minimal viable product. And it also allows us to integrate these digital tools while we are generating value at the same time, because the communications also changed, and without having extremely heavy investments, because right now we are practically learning it all on our own, and we are collaborating with different people, and everyone we've collaborated with, they're being really helpful and training us how to move forward, because I think this is about a collective. Eventually we have to kind of handhold each other into these new spaces and create something unique and new. And collaborating remotely across the teams also helps reduce the team's carbon footprint. Another big element of Gaia was Adhiraj Singh. We just had a live stream with him yesterday. I hope you got a chance to catch it. I started calling Adhiraj digital artisan of the collection. Working with Adhiraj has been really insightful. He has a specific workflow which has helped the team give this structure to our virtual collection, because I mean, now we don't have samples. Like I said, it's all essentially digital files. Once we created the models, we sent it to him. He then worked on fitting them on all the models, and by adding all these beautiful textures that we love and that we always have in the pieces. And we've also collaborated on one co-designed look with Adhiraj, and that piece will be the opening look for the fashion show. So I can't wait for everyone to see that. It's an interesting one, because I tend to, so far with everything, because we make it all physically, I tend to look at all designs in an intangible form. So you have to be kind of mindful of the materials and the weight while creating a handmade jewelry. Whereas he brought in the sense of surrealism, and I think that kind of created this perfect sort of balance between our worlds. And now we've taken it a step further as well by creating an interactive lookbook with the medium of digital art that we'll be launching soon as well. Because considering we made all the 3D models in-house, it gave us a chance to now add in new promotional tools to our project as well, such as Instagram filters. I've always seen them. I always wondered how to go about it. And it was really interesting to finally get a chance to play around and see how our jewelry looks on filters, the fact that everyone can try it. And it creates this sort of very interesting, fun, interactive thing to do with our audiences. And the Instagram filters have gotten great feedback. I think the filter's been active for about a week, and we've had over 3,000 people who've used it. There are over 200,000 people who've seen the filter. So it's got fabulous feedback. And I'm really glad that we kind of looked at this starting from the design development stage, taking it all the way up to communication, even adding it, say, to a lookbook, which will be interactive with videos. So we wanted to kind of create a complete package this time and have a completely new narrative for it. But then again, there are lots of challenges that come with it as well. When we started creating the Instagram filters, I always thought I'm going to use this as a virtual fitting tool, which it is. But then again, earrings, for example, are extremely difficult to place. So I do a lot of eyewear, and of course, as a jewelry designer, we create a lot of earrings. So those are very tricky when you're trying to activate them as Instagram filters. And hair is also a really big problem in the 3D world, and because it has so many strands, there's so much detail, it's very time consuming. I think for me, the whole experience has been absorbing and relearning. There is definitely scope for digital to be a bigger part of the brand, but at the same time, we're still trying to explore the digital sustainability aspect of it. So I'm looking forward to what comes out of this collection. Once we get to see some data, I'm also trying to calculate as much as possible in terms of how much electricity we're using. I mean, it's a new space for us as well, but we're really excited and ready to explore. And in a way, it kind of opens a new revenue model. For example, pitching to virtual gaming communities, or even, like I said, using it for promotion or virtual fashion retailers. All in all, it's been a super exciting project, and I can't wait for you guys to see the show. So please join in. The show is on the 29th of July. At 8:45 p.m. That's Indian Standard Time. And please register on HelsinkiFashionWeekLive.com. The details are also mentioned on their website for other time zones. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Take care. Thank you.